Hello everybody. So those of you who don't know, my name is Nick and I am a flight attendant. So I'm currently based in Las Vegas and am transferring to Fort Lauderdale come April. So what this video is about today is the reason why I became a flight attendant and how I kind of did it. Because this reason's a little bit dark, and how I got to actually becoming a flight attendant was an interesting process that I feel like I should share with everybody, because you never know, someone might be struggling in the same boat as I was when I first wanted to become a flight attendant. And let's start from the beginning. Back in 2014, I graduated high school. I graduated in high school and I was like, I want to be a doctor. This is what I want to do. So then I went to my local college called SEMO. For those of you who don't know, that's Southeast Missouri State University. I grew up in a small town in Missouri. And from there, I did my first semester in Missouri. So I did fall semester in Missouri. Got straight A's, everything went great. And then from there, I was like, I am done with Missouri. Missouri is not the place where I'd like to live. And then from there, I went to U of A, University of Arizona in Tucson, Arizona, because I got in-state tuition because my dad lived in Phoenix at the time. So 2015 rolls around, the beginning of 2015, so it'd be winter semester. I took off. I didn't go to school at all. I was just getting ready to move to Tucson to finish out my schooling. So then beginning of 2015 rolls around, I'm just saving up as much money as possible so I can move out to Tucson. I was a server at the time at Shake Shack, is where I got my first job ever. As like a server, customer service space. Before that I worked in fast food as a cashier slash like cook. I did a bit of everything. But my real first face-to-face, I'm interacting with the customer, would have been serving at Red Robin. And then from there, I finally was able to gather everything and then moved to Tucson to study human anatomy physiology. That was my major, and God forbid that major was a nightmare, because that major literally lived and breathed my whole entire time. I had to do that, I had to do community service, I had to maintain straight A's, I had to work full-time in order to afford that. At the time that my dad was paying for my rent. And I was able just to work and figure out how life was going to be like living on my own at 19. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I guess I'm going to be a doctor. It's what I want to do. I have the grades to do it if I just got to set my mind to it. So then I did college for 2 years. 2 years. I made it technically the end of my sophomore year. And then at the end of my sophomore year, I remember this day just drastically. I was in the middle of my sophomore year, and in the middle of OChem, I had, for those of you who don't know, OChem is organic chemistry. I had a mental breakdown, in the middle of class, at the point where I was just bawling my eyes out, because I was like, I can't do this anymore. This is too much stress. My mind isn't here. I just want to quit everything and drop out. So then I called my mom midway through this lecture. I literally just left because I was bawling and everyone was just looking at me like I'm batshit crazy. Anyway, I left. And then I was bawling to my mom, like, Mom, I can't do this anymore. Please help. There's too much stress. There's too much on me. This isn't for me. Please, tell me what to do, because I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. And from there, my mom's like, it's okay, calm down. You can always come back home. I was like, I don't want to come back home. I told myself I'm on my own now. I can do this. So, and then after that little crisis I had, I decided that school at the time was not for me. So I ended up withdrawing from all of my classes, dropping out, and I did for about 2 months or so. I was just working. I was a fine dining server at a place called Five Palms in Tucson, Arizona. It's no longer a restaurant. They did close down, but I was a cocktail server, and I worked in the piano bar, which was really cool, because usually you don't hear about guys being a cocktail server often. And at that point, I decided I want to do that full time. So I did that full time. I was making great money doing that. And then I moved into a place by myself, and I was paying rent. I was doing everything. I had a roommate because I had a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. I guess technically a duplex. I shared it with somebody else across the way. But anyway, I did that for a while, and then I had another mental breakdown, because I was like, I don't know if I wanted to go into nursing, because I still love healthcare. I still love everything to do around medicine and healing people and that whole jazz. I always thought it was interesting. I want to be the one to save lives. So, and then I had another mental breakdown. This was like maybe 2017, 2 years in. Didn't end up going back to school. Moved into a house by myself with my roommate. And I had another mental breakdown because I was like, maybe I'm going to apply to nursing school, maybe I'm not. And then I ended up applying to nursing school. I got into nursing school in northern Michigan, so I was going to move to Traverse City. And then I went to orientation, and maybe a week or two before I was actually going to sign up for classes, I ended up not going and decided, I'm not going to do this. Nursing isn't for me. My heart isn't there. And then I was just kind of lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, where I was going to go, what I was going to do. At that point in time, I also quit my job. I quit working at Five Palms, and there was like 3 to 4 weeks that I just was like, I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. I don't want to work here. I'm in a dead-end job. I don't want to be a server the rest of my life, but that means I need an education, but I don't know what I want to go to school for. And then I ended up getting a job at Sazerac, which is no longer there either. Apparently I have the perfect luck with choosing restaurants that just aren't around anymore. But I was a server / craft bartender. So I learned how to make like craft drinks, how to muddle my own drinks, make like specialty cocktails from like the New Orleans Prohibition style drinks, which is really cool. And I absolutely loved it. I wish they would have, continued to be open. But at that time, I found me a new job. So I was still serving and bartending, still in the same industry that I wanted to get out of. But the money is there. Money is always in. I like that money instant. Like, here's your cash, there you go. But at that point, I was still spending money like I had money. So I ended up getting myself into like a terrible, terrible debt, ending up like fucking up my credit and everything else. So that brief moment, I was just like screwing myself over with everything I could do. And my dad realized I was digging myself, a grave, and he helped and bailed me out. But he also gave me a book called, I don't know, some parachute something. I have to look it up. But I think it was like the Blue Parachute or something that told me like where to go in life and how to like decide where the path is for you. And I've always told people that I live a gypsy life. So the best way I describe that is I bounce from point A to point B to point C. I get real sad if I stay in one spot for a long period of time. So since I lived a gypsy life, I knew I wanted to do something that involved travel. That's why I thought travel nursing, and then I realized my heart's just not there. So then I thought about doing sales and traveling with sales, but I didn't think I'd do good at that. And then finally it hit me, and then I was like, flight attendant. This is what I want to do. This is the career I am going to go into. And follow this parachute book, and it told me literally like, follow your passions and whatnot. So that's what I did. And I started Googling on YouTube how to be a flight attendant, watching all these flight attendant vlogs and how they saw their life and how interesting it was, how exotic it was. So then my mind was set. I was like, I want to be a flight attendant. I am going to do whatever it takes to become a flight attendant. So then I researched it and found out you don't need a college education, which was really, really cool, and I started applying. I got shot down from the major airlines like United, American, Delta, but with American, I did the video interview, they liked me, and then I went to the face-to-face. I made it all the way through, got fingerprinted, and then shot down. So I don't know what it was, but they just ended up just not choosing me. United at the time couldn't make it past the video interview. Delta, they just never liked me, Delta. So, and then from there, I started applying to like regional airlines, and none of them seemed to work out. None of them fit with my personality or like my values. And then Hawaiian finally hit me up and was like, hey, we want you. This was right before my current airline hit me up. But Hawaiian hit me up, I think it was like October. And they were like, we have an interview for you in Honolulu, but you have to get down there by yourself. We don't cover anything. And I'm like, I can't afford this. I just finally got myself out of being in a hole. What makes you think I can afford to go to Honolulu for 2 weeks and then unpaid training for another month? So that was out of the picture. And then finally, the current airline I am with said, hey, we want you to go to an interview in Fort Lauderdale. And I was like, Dad, this is my last shot. I applied to 7 airlines. All of them have turned me down. This one likes me and they want me to go to an interview. So, but it's in Fort Lauderdale. So I ended up getting a ticket, going to Fort Lauderdale, renting an Airbnb for the interview. So I got the email in like November for a December interview date. So then I went to that interview in Fort Lauderdale, and I got there like a day early so I could like walk down to the hotel where the interview was so I could see like how it goes and how everything was. I did all my prepping beforehand. I did Glassdoor to see how the questions were going to be. I was super nervous. Like every time I do an interview, I feel like I'm going to mess up and they're not going to like me for me. But I always over prep myself. I looked on Glassdoor, Googled the questions, how to do it, what was their values, how did everything like. So I just got over prepped for everything and did it. So then day of the interview, I left at like 4 a.m. because they told us to get there early so we can be like one of the first in line so I can be the first one out. I left at like 4 a.m. Got halfway down there. I was walking because I didn't feel like taking an Uber because I was like, it's close enough, I can just walk. So I ended up walking in my suit. Halfway down there, I realized, oh crap, I forgot my wallet. So I had to run all the way back another 15 minutes, grab my wallet. And at that point, I was already like, oh crap, I'm running late. So I called an Uber and, I called an Uber and I had the Uber pick me up from my Airbnb. I made sure I had everything, I was all set. Uber picked me up and I made it down to the hotel. I was like number 10 or 11 in line at like 4:45, 5 o'clock in the morning. The interview starts at 7. So they always said everybody on Glassdoor says get there early, meet friends, mingle, and make sure you're there like 2 or 3 hours early. You're gonna have a long day. So I got there, I made friends, and it was a long day. So the interview process was long, and it was like different than any other interview process I had. So we got to the hotel, I waited in line, I was like blue 4, blue 5, whatever. They split us up in different colors. The first round was a fishbowl question, it's like a beauty pageant question. So it's like you have to read the question, follow the instructions to the T, set it down, answer your question. So I did that, I made it past that round. And then from there, I went to the like one-on-one after lunch. So, and then I had my face with a one-on-one or a two-on-one, I think it was a two-on-one, I think it was like a flight attendant and a member of HR. I did that, I read a prompt and did like the jump seat test and the like lifting 50-pound bag over your head, which I don't even think was 50 pounds. But I did that, and then they set us to another waiting room. When I waited there, they called me out with like 4 or 5 other people. And they were like, we're sorry, but congratulations, you got your CJO. So I was freaking out. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get the job. But in all actuality, I got it. I got my CJO. So then I was like, cool, I'm off to training. And my training date was set for like February. I think it was February or January. It's either January, no, I think it was February. So my training date was in February, and our training date is about a month long. So it was an unpaid training for a month, but I was like, I have to do this. This is what I want to do my whole life. So I told my parents, hey guys, I got the job. I'm going to be a flight attendant. Everything's going to work out in the long run. My job is currently closing at this restaurant, and that I had to just, everything was falling into place. And then a week later, I got a letter or an email saying, congratulations, you're going to be based in Las Vegas. Here's your paperwork you need to study, go over studying, and we'll see you in training. I was like, oh, I'm so excited I got the job. And then I studied my butt off, and then when training actually came, I scored extremely well on all of my stuff all the way through. I passed everything, flying colors. Then I came out to Vegas and became a flight attendant here. I've been doing this for about 2 years, 2 years on the dot actually. My recurrence at the end of this month. So I have to say, flight attending has changed my life drastically. If you would have asked me 4 years ago if I would have been in Vegas being a flight attendant, I would have told you no. I would have been a doctor. I was going to go in the medical field. I was going to do med school. And it's just crazy how your life can change in the drop of a hat, realizing that you may think one day you're going to do this and then wake up the next morning and realize, I'm not happy doing this. I'm not happy trying to figure out what I'm trying to do with my life. I'm not happy where I'm currently at. So the best thing I can tell you is to just follow your dreams. No matter if anyone tells you your dreams are too big, your dreams are never too big. If you set your heart to anything, you can do it. Like, I had a goal, and my goal was to be a flight attendant. And I accomplished that goal. And then now my goal right now is to be a vlogger. Like, be one of these people that I looked at when I first started my career and be like, I want to be like you. You are what I want to be. So this is where I'm at now, is now that I am a flight attendant. I did it, but now I want to share my story with everybody else. I want to show you that if I can do it, you can do it. Because not only did I inspire myself by looking at other people, I want to do the same for you. Like, I don't know if this makes sense, but overall, I want to be the person that shows you, hey, this is how you have to do it. This is the career I want to be in. Because this career is not for everybody. I mean, there are days that I am super, super lonely and that things just don't go right, don't go as planned. There are days that I have 16-hour duty days, like 17-hour duty days, or I wouldn't say 17, like 15, 16-hour duty days, where I'm just exhausted and that overall, everything's not like as glamorous as I thought it would be. But I love this job daily. Like every day does not feel like work. There are days that I do just want to cry in the corner that scheduling decides, oh, you just got back from working in Baltimore, Vegas. Now we're going to have you go to Tampa. I'm just like, I am so tired. I don't want to go to Tampa. But you just got to smile and be like, okay, I'm going to Tampa. But there are other days where I get to turn someone who's a scared flyer into someone who loves flying. Like the whole reason that I like being a flight attendant is that I like the idea of, helping somebody experience something new. Like turning somebody's like scared like energy into being like super excited flyer. Like seeing the joy on their face when we take off is amazing. Like watching a little kid go to the cockpit, introduce them to the pilots, it lights me up. It's like the idea of someone going to Disneyland for the first time and seeing the excitement on their face and being like, wow, this is what it's like. Like that is the reason I wake up every day and do my job, because I love that excitement. I love seeing the people be like, this is it. This is the moment that I've been waiting for. I've never been on a plane. You guys made it so exciting, so personable, so enjoyable. That's what gets me going. And I would have never thought in a million years when I thought about being a flight attendant, that is going to be the reason that keeps me going during the day, is turning someone who's scared, someone who doesn't know, to someone who enjoys flying. Like, I wanted to go in the medical field. I didn't think that I was going to be a flight attendant. Like being in the medical field, I turned someone who's scared and like to make someone feel better. So I guess it's kind of the same thing, but I've just turned it into something just a little bit different. So, but now I kind of see how it relates, is turning someone who's like sick and dying into someone who feels better. Same thing kind of like flying, turns someone who's scared to someone who enjoys it. I guess it kind of just relates back to it. And so you find little things that you realize, I'm really passionate about this, and go for it. But enough rambling, guys. This is pretty much my video on why I became a flight attendant and why this may inspire you to become a flight attendant, or realizing that my story could help you inspire your story and why you choose to do whatever career you're in, and anything like that, guys. But this is where I'm going to wrap up the video today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Hit that push bell notification so you guys can stay up to date with all my future ventures. I don't say this enough, guys, but please share this to your friends. Because not only do I think that this may benefit anyone who wants to be a flight attendant, but it could benefit anybody by showing them, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. You probably don't know what you're going to do with your life, and that's okay. I was 21 years old when I was like, this is what I'm going to do with my life. I had almost a year of just panic and not knowing what I'm going to do with my life. So that's it, guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.